Pam Dawber does her best to stay out of the news. However, there are some controversies she can do nothing to bury. Is it true that her best friend Robin Williams repeatedly sexually harassed her? And what was she thinking when she and her husband tried to take her sister's child, the son of Ricky Nelson, away from her? In this video, we reveal all this and more, while showing you some of her rarest photos. On October 18, 1951, in Detroit, Michigan, Pam Dawber was born to Thelma M. Fisher and Eugene E. Dawber. She was the older of two daughters. Her dad was a commercial artist, giving her a taste of the creative world right from an early age. However, Pam would not muster the courage to pursue her dreams until much later in life. Pam, who was raised Roman Catholic, had a pretty standard childhood. From Reed Elementary School in Goodrich, she went to North Farmington High School and eventually ended up at Oakland Community College. She had the intention to transfer from Oakland Community College to a college with a 4-year program. However, right at this stage in her life, she decided to take a pretty big chance on herself. Education was all well and good, but Pam had her heart set on other endeavors. Consequently, rather than transferring to a 4-year college, she deferred her studies to do some modeling work. Well, what began as a mere taste of the showbiz life transformed into a full-on obsession. As a result, Pam dropped out of school completely to become a full-time model. At this point in life, Pam moved away from her home in Michigan to New York, New York. Finding herself in one of the greatest cultural centers in the modern world, she began work as a fashion model with the Wilhelmina Models Agency. After a while, though, the itch to become an actress grew so strong that Pam ended up switching professions. Thanks to her good looks and modeling background, she was able to land several roles in TV commercials for brands such as Photomat, Noxima, Neat, and Underalls. Now commercials were all well and good, but Pam craved more serious acting work. As a result, she presented herself for many casting calls. She went so far as to screen test for an upcoming sitcom titled Tabitha. This was to be a spin-off of the mega hit Bewitched. Unfortunately for Pam, she lost the role to Lisa Hartman. In spite of this, though, something good came out of the audition. The executives at ABC were so impressed with Pam's talents that they decided to throw her a bone. The winds of fortune were finally blowing Pam's way. At the time, ABC had such a wonderful talent development program. It was so good that its participants would be paid until they found an appropriate role. Pam was placed into this program, relieving much financial stress and allowing her to focus on her auditions. Well, with one foot in the door already, it didn't take long for an opportunity to come calling. Pam was picked out of ABC's talent development program by Gary Marshall, one of Hollywood's most influential screenwriters, directors, actors, and producers. At the time, Marshall was developing a sitcom known as Mork and Mindy and needed a female who would co-star with the electrifying comedic talent known as Robin Williams. In picking Pam Dawber for this role, most of Marshall's peers thought he was making a mistake. After all, she did not have professional experience as a TV actress and did not even audition for the role. Even so, Marshall trusted his instincts. All his experience had to count for something, right? Well, as it turned out, Gary Marshall had made the right decision. Mork and Mindy was a huge success, propelling Pam Dawber to instant stardom. During the show, she developed a very tight bond with Robin Williams, and the two of them became best friends. In fact, Williams was so funny that Dawber often found it really hard to maintain her composure whenever they were filming. At the start, Mork and Mindy was a hit show, attracting millions of viewers. However, the honeymoon period did not last forever. The show ran for 4 seasons and 91 episodes. For each season following the first, the show's ratings plummeted. The main reason for this was studio interference. ABC executives were constantly trying to make the show something it was not. For one, they constantly tried to sexualize Pam in order to drive up the ratings. However, with the help of Robin Williams, Pam fervently resisted this. Eventually, ABC pulled the plug on the show. After 4 years of steady work, Pam was once again unmoored. Well, even though Mork and Mindy had gone the way of the dinosaurs, Pam was a completely different person now than she was before filming it. She had a lot of clout now and did not struggle to find further projects. Unfortunately, some of the projects Pam participated in were marked by terrible tragedy, events that sent ripples of shock around the whole world. The first of these events circulated around the show My Sister Sam. This was a CBS sitcom in which Pam played the role of Samantha Russell alongside the beautiful and talented Rebecca Schaeffer. At the start, the show was quite a success and quickly became a fan favorite. However, after the network shifted it to Saturday night, ratings began to plummet. In the end, the show was canceled after only 2 years on air. Even so, the story was far from over. On July 18, 1989, a man known as Robert John Bardo shot and killed Rebecca Schaeffer right in front of her apartment. He was an obsessed fan who had been stalking her for 3 years. The incident was so senseless and shocking that Pam was completely devastated. From that moment onward, Pam became a staunch advocate for gun control. If only this was the only moment that Pam had to deal with the tragic death of one of her co-stars. Unfortunately for her, she went through the same thing again. This time, it was in an even more devastating fashion. This time, it featured the death of her very best friend. Decades later, in 2014, Pam once again worked with Robin Williams on the comedy show The Crazy Ones. She played the love interest of his character. Despite much fan enthusiasm about the reunion of Pam and Robin, the show's ratings failed to improve. As a result, it was canceled shortly after the reunion. Around this time, Robin Williams was suffering from Lewy body disease. He also fell into a very deep depression. On August 11, 2015, he was found dead in his Paradise K home. The cause of death was ruled asphyxia due to hanging, with no drugs and alcohol found in his system. Nobody, absolutely nobody, saw this coming. At once, the entire world entered a state of mourning. As one of his closest friends, Pam was aggrieved more than most. She just couldn't imagine how such a thing could happen. 4 years after Robin's passing, when speaking to New York Times writer David Itzkoff for his upcoming biography on the comedian, Pam had some very surprising things to say about him. Apparently, during the time of Mork and Mindy, he relentlessly sexually assaulted her and other members of the set. According to Pam, though, she never took offense to this and even found it fun. Even so, this news changed the way some people looked at the beloved Robin Williams forever. There is no doubt that Pam Dawber's career has had its fair share of ups and downs. How has she been able to stay strong through it all? Well, one key element of her sanity has been her marriage to fellow actor Mark Harmon. The two of them have been one of Hollywood's most underrated power couples. Pam and Mark have 2 sons of their own and have done their best to keep them away from the negative influence of Hollywood. However, there was something the couple went through that put the limelight on their family in the absolute worst way. The year they were married, they petitioned to gain custody of Sam Nelson, the nephew of Mark. He was the son of Mark's sister, Kristen, and of industry golden boy Ricky Nelson. Ricky and Kristen went through a very messy and publicized divorce. Kristen, who lived quite an extravagant lifestyle that milked Ricky dry, became completely disinterested in raising children. To top it all off, she was also getting addicted to drugs and alcohol. Not a great image for a mother, wouldn't you say? Well, Pam and her husband sought to save Ricky's son Sam from the clutches of his pathetic sister. Unfortunately, Kristen wasn't going to go down without a fight. Pam and David told the judges that her sister was not fit to raise children because of her messy lifestyle. The case was not a simple one to preside over, and the proceedings dragged on and on. Eventually, Pam and David ended up dropping the case. Some sections of the media tried to paint them as monsters who were trying to take a poor woman's kid away. Tired of all the negative press, they just wanted to move on. Even so, their reputations had been tarnished already. As she enters her 7th decade on Earth, Pam Dawber is still very much active within the industry. However, she has slowed down some, as her priority has shifted towards her husband and 2 children. Despite the many controversies she has been involved in, she's still very much a beloved actress in some circles. Well, what's your opinion about her? If you enjoyed this video, there's a good chance you'll also enjoy the one showing on your screen right now. Click, enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one.